Myra woke up early that morning with a heavy heart. The sun was just beginning to rise, painting soft colors across the sky, but inside her small home, the mood was quiet and tense. Her mother had been feeling very weak for the past few weeks. The doctor had said she needed rest and medicine, but the family did not have enough money to buy all the medicine she needed. Myra's father was away working in another city, sending whatever money he could. But it was still not enough. Myra sat on the edge of her bed, looking at the thin stack of bills on the table. She touched the papers gently, as if hoping they would disappear by magic. But the bills were real, and they needed to be paid soon. Myra felt worried, but she also felt strong inside. She had to find a way to help her family. Just as she was thinking about what to do, her phone rang. It was her Aunt Rosa. Aunt Rosa was a kind woman, always smiling, even when things were hard. Myra answered quickly. "Hello, Myra. Are you awake?" Aunt Rosa's voice was soft but cheerful. "Yes, Aunt Rosa. What is it?" Myra asked. "I need a favor," Aunt Rosa said. "I am feeling a little sick, and I cannot go to work today. Can you cover my shift at the Grand View Hotel? I know it is not easy, but it will help me a lot." Myra's heart jumped. The Grand View Hotel was a big, fancy place in the city center. Aunt Rosa worked there as a cleaner, taking care of rooms and hallways. Myra had never worked there before. The idea was scary, but she knew it was important. "I will do it," Myra said without hesitation. "Thank you, Myra. You are a great help," Aunt Rosa said, her voice full of relief. Myra got ready quickly. She put on the uniform Aunt Rosa had given her, a plain shirt and trousers, nothing special, but clean and neat. She looked in the mirror. The girl looking back at her was nervous but determined. This was her chance to help her family. The streets were busy as Myra walked toward the hotel. People were rushing to work, cars honking, shops opening. The city was alive, but Myra felt like she was in a different world. The Grand View Hotel stood tall, shining in the morning light. Its large glass doors and marble floors made it look like a palace. Myra took a deep breath and stepped inside. The air smelled fresh and clean, with a faint scent of flowers. The hotel was quiet and calm, unlike the noisy streets outside. She smiled to herself, feeling a small spark of hope. Her first task was to clean the lobby area. She pushed the cleaning cart carefully, making sure not to bump into the shining tables or the big vases full of colorful flowers. People were walking by, some stopping to look at the grand chandelier hanging from the ceiling. Myra felt a little shy but worked hard, wiping every surface until it was spotless. A few guests smiled at her politely. Myra smiled back. She was learning to feel comfortable here, even if everything was new and strange. She thought about Aunt Rosa, hoping she would get better soon. Hours passed. Myra moved from the lobby to the hallways and then to the rooms. Each room was different but beautiful. Soft beds with white sheets, fluffy pillows, and little bottles of shampoo on the tables. Myra cleaned carefully, wanting to do a good job. At one point, she stopped to rest for a moment in a quiet corner. She took out a small picture from her pocket. It was a photo of her mother, smiling gently. Myra's eyes filled with tears, but she wiped them quickly. She promised herself to be strong. Just then, the hotel manager came by. He was a tall man with a kind face. He stopped and looked at Myra working. "You are doing well," he said with a smile. "Thank you for helping." Myra nodded, feeling proud. She did not say much, but inside, she was happy to hear the words. After lunch, Myra continued cleaning. The hotel was busy, but she moved carefully and quickly. She noticed small details: the way the curtains hung perfectly, the soft carpet under her feet, the peaceful sound of quiet music playing in the background. As the afternoon sun began to shine through the tall windows, Myra finished the last room. She looked around, feeling tired but satisfied. She had done something important today. Before she left, she sent a quick message to Aunt Rosa. "I covered your shift. Everything is fine. Please get well soon." Aunt Rosa replied with a heart emoji. Myra smiled and started walking home. The city looked different now. It was still busy, but Myra felt a little stronger, a little braver. She had faced a new challenge and did not give up. She thought about her family and how she could keep helping them. That night, Myra went to bed with a full heart. Tomorrow was a new day, and maybe, just maybe, things would start to get better. The next morning, Myra returned to the Grandview Hotel, ready for another day of work. She felt a little more confident now. Yesterday had been hard, but she had learned a lot. Aunt Rosa's words echoed in her mind: "Take your time and be careful. People here are kind if you are kind to them." The hotel was already busy when Myra arrived. Guests walked in and out, their voices soft, their steps gentle on the shiny floors. Myra pushed her cleaning cart through the grand lobby, past the huge flower arrangements and the tall Christmas tree that had been put up early this year. She had a list of rooms to clean and hallways to tidy. As she moved down the hall, her eyes caught something unexpected. A tall man in a dark blue suit was walking toward her. He looked important, with a calm smile and bright eyes that seemed to notice everything around him. Myra kept walking, pretending to be busy. But the man stopped and looked at her carefully. "Excuse me," he said in a polite voice. "Are you a guest here?" Myra blinked, surprised. "No, sir. I work here. I'm cleaning the rooms." The man smiled again. "You look very nice today. May I invite you to the lounge for some tea? It's quiet there, and the view is beautiful." Myra felt her heart beat faster. No one had ever invited her like this before. She was unsure. She looked down at her uniform and then back at the man. "Are you sure?" she asked softly. "I am supposed to work." "Please," he said kindly. "Consider it a small break." Myra hesitated for a moment but then nodded. "Okay. Thank you." They walked together to the hotel lounge. The room was warm and comfortable, with large windows looking out over the city. Soft music played in the background, and the smell of fresh tea filled the air. A waiter brought 2 cups of tea and a plate of biscuits. Myra felt nervous but tried to smile. The man introduced himself. "My name is Mr. Hale," he said. "I come here often. It is one of my favorite places in the city." Myra nodded. "I'm Myra. I'm just helping my aunt today. She works here as a cleaner." Mr. Hale listened carefully as Myra spoke. She told him about her family, her mother's illness, and how hard things had been lately. She did not plan to say so much, but somehow, talking to Mr. Hale felt easy. "You are very brave," Mr. Hale said softly. "Taking care of your family is not easy." Myra looked down, feeling shy. "I just want to help. I want to make things better." Mr. Hale smiled again. "That is a good heart. The world needs more people like you." For a moment, the hotel noise seemed far away. Myra felt calm, almost like she was in a different place. "Do you have any dreams?" Mr. Hale asked gently. Myra thought about this. She had many dreams, but one had stayed with her for a long time. "I want to open a bakery," she said quietly. "A small place where people can come, feel happy, and enjoy fresh bread and sweets." Mr. Hale's eyes lit up. "That sounds wonderful. A bakery can bring joy to many people." They talked more about dreams and life. Myra shared stories about her childhood, the times she spent with Aunt Rosa, and the hope she held deep inside. After a while, Mr. Hale checked his watch and said, "I should go now, but it was very nice to meet you, Myra." Myra smiled, feeling grateful. "Thank you for the tea and your kindness." Before leaving, Mr. Hale handed Myra a small card. "If you ever need help or advice, please call me," he said warmly. Myra looked at the card. It had Mr. Hale's name and phone number, along with a simple message, "Believe in yourself." As Mr. Hale walked away, Myra held the card tightly in her hand. She felt a strange mix of surprise and hope. Could this man really make a difference? Was this a chance for something new? For the rest of the day, Myra worked with a lighter heart. The hotel was busy, but her mind kept returning to Mr. Hale's words. She felt like someone had seen her, not just the cleaner, but the person she truly was. At the end of her shift, Myra called Aunt Rosa to tell her about the strange but kind man. Aunt Rosa laughed softly. "Myra, you never know where life will take you. Sometimes, the smallest moments bring the biggest changes." Myra agreed, feeling tired but happy. She knew tomorrow would be another day full of challenges, but now she had a little hope to carry with her. As she walked out of the hotel into the cool evening air, Myra looked up at the sky. The stars were beginning to shine, and she whispered quietly to herself, "Maybe things will be better." The next morning, Myra woke up feeling a little different. The card Mr. Hale had given her was safely tucked inside her wallet, and every time she thought about it, a small smile appeared on her face. For the first time in a long time, she felt like maybe something good was coming her way. But today, she had to focus on work. Aunt Rosa was still resting at home, and Myra knew she had to cover the hotel cleaning shift again. She got ready quickly, wearing the same uniform, and took a deep breath before stepping outside. The city was busy as always. Cars honked, people hurried by, and street vendors called out to sell their goods. Myra kept her head down, walking carefully toward the Grandview Hotel. Inside, the hotel looked just as grand as before. The sparkling floors, the bright lights, the soft music, it all made Myra feel like she had stepped into a different world. She smiled quietly to herself and pushed her cleaning cart into the lobby. Today, the hotel seemed busier. People talked in small groups, laughing and enjoying their time. Myra moved through the crowds carefully, trying not to get in anyone's way. She noticed the same man from yesterday, Mr. Hale, sitting in the hotel lounge, reading a newspaper. Her heart skipped a beat. She wasn't sure if she should approach him again. What if he did not remember her? Or what if this was just a mistake? As she wiped the large glass windows near the lounge, Mr. Hale looked up and smiled at her. This time, the smile was warmer and more inviting. "Myra," he called softly. "Would you like to join me for tea again?" Myra's cheeks turned pink. She glanced around, then nodded. "Thank you, Mr. Hale." She pushed her cart to a quiet corner of the lounge and sat down next to him. The waiter brought fresh tea and biscuits once again. The room was peaceful, and the light coming through the windows made everything look soft and calm. Myra felt herself relaxing. This moment felt different from the usual busy days at the hotel. Mr. Hale looked at her kindly. "You didn't have to come back today," he said. "But I'm glad you did." Myra smiled. "I wanted to. You were very kind yesterday." They talked again, this time with more ease. Mr. Hale asked questions about her life, her family, and her dreams. Myra told him how much she wanted to open a bakery, not just to sell bread, but to create a place where people could feel happy and comfortable. "I've always believed that food can bring people together," Myra said softly. "When someone is sad or lonely, a warm piece of bread or a sweet cake can make them smile." Mr. Hale nodded thoughtfully. "That is a beautiful dream, Myra. Many people forget how important simple kindness is." Myra looked around the lounge, thinking about the people she had seen in the hotel. Some were laughing with friends, others were quietly reading or working on their computers. Everyone seemed to be searching for something: happiness, peace, or a place to belong. She felt grateful to be here, even if only for a little while. After a moment of silence, Mr. Hale spoke again. "Myra, I want to help you. Not just with money, but with advice and support. You have a good heart, and that is rare." Myra's eyes widened. She wasn't sure what to say. Was this really happening? Could someone like Mr. Hale believe in her dream? "Thank you," she whispered. "I don't know what to say." "You don't have to say anything now," he replied gently. "But please remember, dreams need courage and help. You are not alone." Myra felt tears in her eyes but held them back. She nodded, feeling a deep sense of hope growing inside her. They talked for a while longer about small things: favorite books, places they wanted to visit, and simple joys in life. Myra forgot about the tiredness she usually felt after a long day. Here, with Mr. Hale, she felt light and free. When it was time to leave, Mr. Hale stood up and said, "Come with me. I want to show you something." Curious, Myra followed him through a door that led to a quiet garden behind the hotel. The garden was full of colorful flowers and tall trees. The sun was beginning to set, casting a golden glow on everything. Mr. Hale pointed to a small wooden bench under a big oak tree. "This is my favorite spot in the city. Whenever I feel tired or lost, I come here to think." Myra sat on the bench, looking around. It was peaceful and beautiful. For a moment, all her worries seemed far away. "Life can be difficult," Mr. Hale said quietly. "But if you have a place to rest and people who believe in you, you can face anything." Myra smiled. "I want to be that kind of person, someone who gives hope to others." Mr. Hale looked at her with warmth. "You already are." The sky turned pink and orange as the sun disappeared behind the buildings. Myra knew she would remember this moment forever: the kindness of a stranger who had seen her heart and invited her to dream again. When they returned to the hotel lobby, Mr. Hale handed Myra his card once more. "Call me anytime," he said. Myra took the card with both hands. "I will." "Thank you, Mr. Hale." That evening, as Myra walked home, she held the card tightly. She thought about the bakery she wanted to open and the people who would come there. She thought about her family, her mother's smile, and the new hope growing inside her. Maybe, just maybe, this invitation was the start of something wonderful. Days passed, and Myra found herself thinking often about the quiet garden behind the hotel and the kind man who had invited her there. Mr. Hale's words stayed with her: dreams need courage and help. Myra wanted to believe that someday her bakery could open and bring happiness to others. But reality was still tough. Her mother's health did not improve much, and Myra spent her mornings caring for her before heading to the hotel. The cleaning work was tiring, but every time she wore the uniform and stepped inside the grand view, she felt a small spark of hope. One afternoon, while Myra was cleaning a corridor on the third floor, she heard a soft knock on a nearby door. She looked up to see Mr. Hale standing there again, holding two small paper bags. "Hello, Myra," he said with a warm smile. "I brought some treats from a bakery I like. I thought you might enjoy them." Myra felt surprised and grateful. "Thank you, Mr. Hale. That is very kind of you." They sat down together in a small seating area just outside the rooms. Myra opened one of the bags and found a fresh loaf of bread and a small box of sweets. The smell was delicious. As they shared the food, Myra talked more about her family, the challenges they faced, and her dream of opening a bakery. Mr. Hale listened carefully, asking gentle questions and offering thoughtful advice. "You have a strong heart, Myra," he said. "Many people give up when things get hard. But you keep going. That is true courage." Myra looked down at her hands. "Sometimes, I feel scared. What if I can't do it? What if my family is too sick or we don't have enough money?" Mr. Hale reached out and gently placed his hand over hers. "Fear is normal. But it should not stop you. Believe in yourself, and find the people who believe in you, too. That is how dreams grow." His words touched Myra deeply. She had never felt so understood before. For the first time, she realized that she did not have to carry everything alone. Over the next few weeks, Mr. Hale became a quiet presence in Myra's life. He would stop by occasionally during her shifts, bringing small gifts or simply sitting and listening. Sometimes they talked about the bakery, what kind of bread she wanted to bake, what sweets she dreamed of making, and how she wanted to decorate the shop. One day, as they sat together in the hotel lounge, Mr. Hale said, "Myra, I have a question. Have you thought about asking for help to start your bakery? Sometimes, a little support can make a big difference." Myra hesitated. "I don't know where to begin. I am afraid people will say no. Sometimes, people want to help, but they just need to be asked," Mr. Hale said kindly. "I would like to help you, too, if you will let me." Myra looked at him, her eyes wide with surprise. "Really?" "Yes," Mr. Hale nodded. "But only if you are ready. You must be willing to work hard, learn, and never give up." Myra thought about her mother, her family, and the dream she had carried in her heart for so long. She took a deep breath and said, "I'm ready." From that day on, their conversations changed. Mr. Hale helped Myra make a plan. They talked about small steps, saving money, learning new baking skills, and finding a good place for the bakery. He also introduced her to some people who knew about business and could offer advice. Myra felt like she was walking a new path. It was not easy, and sometimes she still felt tired or scared, but the hope inside her grew stronger. One evening, after a long day of work, Myra returned home to find her mother waiting with a gentle smile. "How are you feeling today, Mama?" Myra asked softly. Her mother reached out and held Myra's hand. "Better, because you are trying so hard. I am proud of you." Myra's eyes filled with tears. "I want to make you proud, Mama. I want to give you a better life." Her mother squeezed her hand. "You already have." That night, Myra lay in bed thinking about everything that had happened. The chance meeting with Mr. Hale, the small kindnesses, the quiet garden, and the hope for a bakery. It all felt like a dream coming closer to reality. She realized that dreams were not just about wishes. They were about courage, connection, and the kindness of others. Myra smiled in the dark, knowing that no matter what happened next, she was no longer alone. Myra could hardly believe how much her life had started to change. Just a few weeks ago, she was worried about how to pay the bills and care for her mother. Now, with Mr. Hale's encouragement and help, she felt like a small light was shining in the darkness. It was a bright Saturday morning when Mr. Hale invited Myra to meet him at the hotel's garden. The sun was warm, and the flowers were in full bloom. Myra wore her best clothes, a simple dress she had saved for special occasions, and felt a mix of excitement and nervousness. When she arrived, Mr. Hale was waiting near the wooden bench under the big oak tree. "Good morning, Myra," he said with a smile. "I hope you are ready for today." Myra nodded. "I think so. But I'm also a little scared." "That's normal," Mr. Hale said kindly. "Big changes always bring some fear. But remember, fear is only a feeling. It doesn't control you unless you let it." They sat together, and Mr. Hale handed Myra a small envelope. "This is for you," he said. "It's not a gift or a handout. It's an investment, a way to help you start your bakery." Myra's eyes widened. She slowly opened the envelope and saw a check inside, enough money to rent a small shop and buy some baking tools. "I don't know what to say," Myra whispered, tears filling her eyes. "You don't need to say anything now," Mr. Hale replied. "Just promise me one thing." "What?" Myra asked. "Promise me that you will work hard, stay kind, and never forget why you started," he said. "I promise," Myra said, her voice strong. For the first time, Myra felt that her dream was not just a wish, it was becoming real. The days that followed were full of busy work. Myra looked at small shops in the neighborhood, searching for the perfect place for her bakery. She talked to landlords, asked questions, and made lists of everything she needed. Mr. Hale introduced her to a baker named Mrs. Patel, who agreed to teach Myra some new recipes and baking techniques. Mrs. Patel was patient and kind, and Myra learned quickly. She practiced early in the morning and late at night, trying to perfect every loaf of bread and every sweet treat. Myra's family was amazed by her determination. Her mother smiled more often, and even Aunt Rosa, who had been sick, began to recover little by little. One afternoon, while Myra was baking in Mrs. Patel's kitchen, her phone rang. It was Mr. Hale. "How is everything going?" he asked. "Good," Myra said. "It's hard work, but I'm learning a lot." "That's excellent. Remember, every great baker started where you are now." Myra smiled and thanked him. Finally, after weeks of preparation, Myra signed a contract for a small bakery shop on a busy street. The space was small but cozy, with big windows that let in the sunlight. Myra could already imagine the smell of fresh bread and the happy faces of customers. She called Mr. Hale to share the good news. He congratulated her and said he was proud. That evening, Myra went home feeling tired but full of hope. She sat beside her mother and held her hand. "Mama, I'm going to open the bakery soon," she said softly. Her mother's eyes shone with tears. "You have worked so hard, Myra. I am so proud of you." Myra smiled and hugged her mother gently. "Thank you for believing in me." As the opening day approached, Myra worked tirelessly to prepare the bakery. She painted the walls a soft yellow, bought fresh flowers for the windows, and arranged shelves full of bread and sweets. On the day before the opening, Myra stood outside the shop, looking at the small sign she had made, Myra's Bakery, a place for warm hearts and sweet smiles. She felt a wave of emotion, excitement, nervousness, and gratitude all mixed together. That night, she called Mr. Hale one last time before the big day. "Thank you for everything," she said softly. "You earned it, Myra," Mr. Hale replied. "This is only the beginning." Myra knew he was right. Her journey was just starting, but she was ready. She closed her eyes and whispered a quiet prayer, hoping that her bakery would be a place where many people could find joy and comfort, just like she had found a little light on her darkest days. The morning of the bakery opening arrived with soft sunshine and a gentle breeze. Myra woke up early, her heart beating fast with a mix of excitement and nervousness. She dressed carefully in a simple but neat dress and tied her hair back with a ribbon. Today was the day her dream would begin. She arrived at the bakery shop before sunrise. The small space looked warm and inviting, with fresh flowers in the windows and the sign Myra's Bakery, a place for warm hearts and sweet smiles shining in the morning light. Myra took a deep breath and opened the door. The smell of fresh bread and sweet cakes filled the air. She arranged the pastries on the shelves and placed small notes next to each item, sharing a little story or a kind message. This was her way of welcoming every guest, even if they only stopped for a moment. Soon, the first customers started to arrive. Some were neighbors who had heard about the new bakery, others were hotel staff and guests from the Grandview Hotel, where Myra still worked part-time. Myra greeted everyone with a smile. "Good morning. Please try our fresh bread and sweets. I hope you enjoy them." The bakery quickly became busy. People loved the warm atmosphere and the delicious food. Myra's heart swelled with happiness every time someone smiled after tasting her bread or cake. Mr. Hale arrived just before noon. He walked in quietly, watching Myra work with pride. When she noticed him, her face lit up. "Mr. Hale. I'm so glad you came," she said, wiping her hands on her apron. He smiled warmly. "I wouldn't miss it for the world, Myra. This place is wonderful." They talked for a moment, but soon, a small crowd gathered around the counter, eager to try the bakery's treats. Myra stayed busy, serving customers and listening to their kind words. One little boy tugged on her dress. "Miss, your cookies are the best I've ever eaten." Myra laughed and knelt down to his level. "Thank you. I'm so happy you like them." As the day went on, Myra's mother and Aunt Rosa arrived. Her mother looked tired but proud. She hugged Myra tightly. "You did it, my daughter," she said softly. "You made your dream come true." Tears filled Myra's eyes. "We did it together, Mama. I couldn't have done this without you and Aunt Rosa." Aunt Rosa smiled, holding Myra's hand. "You've worked so hard. You deserve all the happiness." The evening came, and the bakery's light glowed warmly in the darkening street. Myra closed the shop for a few minutes and stepped outside. The city was alive with sounds and lights, but the bakery felt like a small island of peace. Mr. Hale joined her outside. "How do you feel, Myra?" "I feel happy and tired," she said with a smile. "But mostly happy." He nodded. "This is only the beginning. Many good things are coming." Myra looked up at the sky, where stars were beginning to shine. She felt a deep gratitude for the journey that had brought her here, the hard days, the kindness of strangers, the support of her family, and the courage to keep dreaming. That night, after closing the bakery, Myra returned home. She found her mother resting peacefully and Aunt Rosa sitting by the window, reading a book. Myra sat quietly for a moment, then spoke softly, "Thank you for believing in me." Her mother smiled in her sleep, and Aunt Rosa looked up, her eyes warm. "You've made us proud, Myra. We believe in you always." As Myra lay down to sleep, she knew there would be challenges ahead, but she felt ready. She had a dream, a purpose, and people who cared. Her bakery was more than just a shop. It was a symbol of hope, kindness, and the power of believing in oneself. And this was only the beginning of Myra's story. The weeks after the bakery opening were busy and joyful. Myra woke up every morning with a smile, ready to bake fresh bread and sweets for her customers. The shop had become a favorite spot for many people, neighbors, hotel guests, and even Mr. Hale's friends. Myra's life was not without challenges, but she faced each day with hope and determination. She still worked part-time at the hotel to help with expenses, but now, her bakery brought in money and, more importantly, happiness. One afternoon, while Myra was arranging pastries on the shelves, a young woman walked into the bakery. She looked tired but hopeful. "Hello," the woman said softly. "I heard about your bakery from a friend. My name is Anya. I'm looking for work, and I love baking." Myra smiled warmly. "Welcome, Anya. I am always happy to meet someone who loves baking. Would you like to help me in the bakery?" Anya's face lit up. "I would love that. Thank you." As days passed, Anya became part of the bakery family. She was quick to learn and full of new ideas. Together, Myra and Anya baked bread, sweets, and even experimented with new recipes. Myra realized how important it was to have someone to share the dream with. Baking became not just a job but a joy. One evening, after closing the shop, Myra sat with Mr. Hale in the quiet garden behind the hotel. The stars twinkled above, and the air was cool and calm. "You have done well, Myra," Mr. Hale said quietly. "I see how your dream has grown." Myra looked at him, her heart full of gratitude. "I couldn't have done it without you. You believed in me when I didn't believe in myself." Mr. Hale smiled. "Sometimes, all we need is one person to believe in us. You have shown great courage and kindness." Myra thought about her mother and Aunt Rosa, who had supported her through everything. She thought about the hotel where she had first met Mr. Hale, and the small garden where hope had been planted. "Life is full of surprises," she said softly. "Yes, it is," Mr. Hale agreed. "And every ending is a new beginning." Myra nodded, feeling ready for whatever the future held. She had learned that dreams were not just wishes but a journey of hard work, love, and courage. As she walked back to her bakery the next morning, Myra saw her mother sitting on the porch, smiling. Aunt Rosa was tending to the flowers in the garden, humming a gentle tune. Myra took a deep breath, feeling the warmth of home and the promise of tomorrow. Her bakery was more than a place to sell bread. It was a symbol of hope, a reminder that kindness could change lives and that dreams, no matter how small, could grow into something beautiful. And so, Myra's story continued, full of new dreams, new friends, and the simple magic of a warm heart and sweet smiles.